What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, and Reason for more sanity. Today, I'm going to do another episode of Race Hustle Rhetoric. That will be episode 3. And it's going to be an example of end result thinking. If you've ever been in any type of exchange with any race hustler or any brainwashed black person, or just blacks in general, on the topic of crime and the problem of crime in the black community, inevitably you're going to run into white people commit more crime. Now, what's the claim? Well, the claim is that, white people commit more crime. It's straightforward. And their evidence to support this is going to be FBI stats. Well, is that true? Well, yeah. According to the FBI, white people do commit more crime. However, that has to be taken into context with anything. Now, whenever you deal with FBI stats, there's basically two things that you need to know. That's very important that you need to know. The first thing is that the FBI data is just total numbers. It's just raw total numbers. That's not really taken into any context until you have more information to go with it that the FBI stats don't provide. For instance, you won't get any information on percentages or portions. It's just whole total numbers, and you need more information to make heads or tails of it. For instance, if I walk up to you on the street and I tell you 800, right? Well, the first thing that you're going to ask is 800 what? I mean, just telling somebody 800 means nothing. And then I say that, well, my team scored 800 points last season, right? Now, that's more information, but then again, you still need more information. I mean, what team, what sport, what league? Okay, and if I say that, well, my NFL team scored 800 points last season, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we have some information. Again, but you still have to know about the NFL. But when you take that into context, if your NFL team scored 800 points last season, well, that means that you have one hell of an offense. If you take that into context, the NFL, they play 16 games a season. And if your team scored 800 points, that means you're averaging 50 points a game. Well, as far as football going in NFL, that's damn good. I mean, that's spectacular. That probably would have to be a record if a team averaged 50 points a game. And hell, if y'all didn't win the Super Bowl, I mean, if we didn't win the Super Bowl, well, damn, something happened. Something had to go wrong. Because that's damn good for NFL. I mean, that your offense is off the chain. Providing your offense scored most of the points or all the points. But that's still, as a team averaging 50 points a game, that's amazing for NFL. Meanwhile, if I say my NBA team scored 800 points last season, well, now it's a completely different story. Now, I mean, that means my NBA team suck. I mean, hell, they play 80 plus games a season, you know, and if they score 100 points in 8 games, that's 800 points right there. So that means that my offensive scoring on my NBA team suck. Hell, that coach and the GM needs to be fired for that effort. But do you see what matters when you actually get some type of context and meaning? Again, you need the FBI stats alone doesn't provide that. Now, the second thing that you have to know about the FBI stats is, and I have my numbers here. If you look at the different races that they track, there are basically 6 different categories. You have whites, black or African Americans, American Indian or Alaska Native, you have Asian, and you have Hawaiian and other Pacific Islanders. Now, you don't have to be a genius to realize that something there is missing. That would be the second largest group in this country. Hispanics, only second to white. So does that mean that Hispanic people not commit crimes? Well, of course they do. So does the FBI not track them? Well, yes, they do track the Hispanic crime. It's not a matter of yes, if, it's a matter of how and where. Now, according to the FBI, as well as the DOJ, Department of Justice, they basically break Hispanics into two different groups. You have what's called white Hispanics, and those white Hispanics are added to the white category. And you have what's called black Hispanics, and those black Hispanics are added to the black category. So what's the difference between the two? Well, white Hispanics are basically what we've come to think of as Hispanics. For instance, examples would be J-Lo. No, I believe she's Dominican, I believe. Well, she will be considered white Hispanic. If you see J-Lo walking down the street, if she wasn't famous and you look at her, you would say, well, hey, she's Hispanic. Who else? America Ferrera, Ugly Betty. She will be considered white Hispanic. Selena Gomez, former Disney child star. She's noted for being on and off with Justin Bieber. She will be considered white Hispanic. Another former Disney child star, Demi Lovato. She will be considered white Hispanic. Who else? Off the top of my head, Mario Lopez. Mr. A.C. Slater from Saved by the Bell. He will be considered white Hispanics. These are white Hispanics. Now, well, who are black Hispanics? Well, these pretty much are people who are of a Hispanic background but look black. Such as Zoe Saldana, actress Zoe Saldana. She will be considered black Hispanic. Singer Maya. Who else? Christine Milian will be considered black Hispanic. Singer Joy Villa, who became famous for her Make America Great Again dress at one of those award shows. They will be considered black Hispanics. Now, when you add the white Hispanics to the white column, and you add the black Hispanics to the black column, that would make the white column roughly 6 times the size of the black column. Again, very important to note it, or to know when dealing with FBI statistical data. When you're dealing with just total raw numbers, that is something important to know. So if we take that into context, that means, if we compare numbers, that means that if they should be, or the white column should be committing roughly 6 times as many crimes as the black column. You would assume that if they outnumber us 6 to 1, they should be committing 6 times as many crimes. Well, does the number bear that out? Well, let's look at it. Now, by the way, I'm going by 2013 stats because for some reason, every time this argument has been brought to me, it's been used with 2013, and I'm guessing maybe at the said time, these were the most available or the latest available stats, but these are the ones that I've always received, 2013, and that's what I go by. However, if you go year by year, you're going to find pretty much the same thing I will be saying. Now, let's go based upon total crime committed. Right now, I got my notes here. In 2013, the white column committed 6,214,197 crimes. The black column committed 2,540,409 and 655 million crimes. Now, obviously, the white column committed more crimes, but did they commit 6 times as many crimes? Not even close. Based upon these numbers, you don't have to do a calculation to tell it's not 6 times as much. In fact, I already did it. It's 2.44. So that means that white people, or the white column, commits 2.44 times as many crimes as the black column, while outnumbering the black column 6 to 1. So clearly, without doing any other calculations, the black column commits crime at a far higher rate than the white column. Again, if you go category by category, and the FBI tracks 31 different categories, including total numbers. If you go category by category for each different crime they track, you're going to find this to be roughly the same. roughly white people commit the total number of crimes roughly 2.5 times as many on average, while outnumbering us 6 to 1, which means that blacks commit crime at a higher rate. And then three of the crimes, that being murder, robberies, and gambling, we commit more total crime than white people, or the white column. Now, to get an accurate measurement of what this means, you have to do one of two things. You have to either take the white column and divide it by 6, which would theoretically mean they will equal the same size as the black population, or the black column, or you have to take the black column and multiply that by 6, which theoretically means that what the number would be like if blacks equal the same size as the white column. Now, I did it for murder already. So if you were to multiply the black column in the murder column by 6, that means that the black column would have committed 26,274 murders. 26,000. Compared to 3,799 for the white column. So that's a hell of a difference when you take it into context. But 26,000 murders, that is absolutely ridiculous. For to say that black people, we spend so much time worrying about the white man. Now, of all the 31 different categories, there's only one category in which the white column commits more than 6 times that of the black column. That is driving under the influence, and they commit like 6.73 times as many crimes, which is not. So that means that the white column will commit that crime at a slightly higher rate than the black column. That's the only one. So if you ever hear any race hustler focusing on driving under the influence, well, you know why? Because that's the only the only leg they have to stand on, because they can't really debate you in any other categories. Well, based upon race anyway. But that's why you have to know percentage of population so you can calculate race, because the FBI stats don't do that. Or if you hear them start talking about, well, white people commit more workplace violence, Well, that's only because niggas ain't working. I mean, trust me, if niggas were working, they would change that quick. But anyway, if you ever hear cries of white people commit more crime based on FBI statistical data, well, now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Now, on a side note, again, I said this before, this is why it's so important to know. Because when BS is brought to you, if you know, you can debunk it easily, quickly. For instance, if you didn't know that the FBI statistical data was only total numbers, and you didn't know that Hispanics were mixed with white people, the majority of them, and that the white column was 6 times that of the black column, you couldn't make heads or tails out of these numbers. But if you do that, you can. And can you imagine some black person, some ignorant black person somewhere saying, man, white people commit more crime than we do. We only commit more crime than women in 3 categories. Sound like an idiot. That's why it's so important to know. And as always, y'all, until next time.